we are heading into the final stage of the first year off season as we are seeing our team and player options. Aaron Aflalo decides to come back, and he will be our starting shooting guard no matter what the outcome of how Grayson Allen does. And Derek Williams will probably not even have a roster spot, and I might end up releasing him. So here's some people I'm targeting in free agency: Hassan Whiteside, Al Jefferson, mostly centers to replace Robin Lopez's spot, and we do have a little bit of cap room enough to sign one of them. Roy Hibbert, and all these guys are projected to be in free agency. And here's a stretch one: Dwight Howard. I don't know if we'll be able to get him. And the final one is Ian Mahinmi. Breakout year this year with the Indiana Pacers, 7.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks. But we're going to be re-signing Langston Galloway to right now be our starting point guard unless we find one in free agency. So we're going to be giving him $4 million over 2 years. We're also going to be bringing Kevin Serafin. I like what he did down the stretch for a year. So here we head into free agency, and yeah, not that many. The person I really wanted was Hassan Whiteside, and he did not reach free agency. So the top centers were like Dwight Howard and Zaza Pachulia. But you can see here, Roy Hibbert re-signed. You saw Al Jefferson re-signed, and you could see Al Horford re-signed. I was looking at him too, and Hassan Whiteside all re-signed. So actually our first contract we're going to be offering is Brandon Jennings to be our starting point guard. 2-year team deal, $9.5 million about to be our starting point guard, and he will actually end up accepting this deal later on. So he will be our starting point guard. And so we were going to see if we can offer Dwight a deal, and he wanted $20 million for someone that had career lows in pretty much almost every stat, and an 83 overall. I'm like, you know what, screw this. I was just seeing how much, if I could maybe offer him $15 million, $16 million, and he wanted up near $20 million. So I was like, nah, I'm not even going to bother that. So there you can see we get Brandon Jennings. He accepts our contract, and worst comes to worst, he's also a decent trade piece. He's got trade value, something we don't have on this team. And what I decided to do was go after Ian Mahinmi to be our starting center, replace Robin Lopez. He had a breakout year last year. I think I can get him on a 2-year deal, pretty cheap as well, only $5 million a year. And we do end up signing Ian Mahinmi. And we need a backup for Carmelo Anthony, since I really don't want to play Derek Williams, and that man is going to be Alan Crabb, coming over from the Portland Trailblazers, a restricted free agent who we did end up getting in free agency. You can see here in a second we signed him. So looking at our signings, here's Brandon Jennings. What he could bring to the table is definitely scoring, something we need to make the playoffs with this team. He could shoot from 3, mid-range. He could score inside. He works off the pick and roll really well. And pairing him up with Melo isn't maybe the greatest idea, but I think he can learn how to pass the ball. You can see right there he could facilitate the court. And here we're looking at Ian Mahinmi. You can see what he could do in the post. Really, we just need him to be our rim protector. Just be there in the middle of the paint, blocking shots, contesting shots, getting rebounds. That's all we pretty much need him. We need him to do, getting putbacks, getting to the foul line, and I think he's the man that can do it. But worst comes to worst, we would maybe have to package a pick in him to get an upgraded center. But I think for now, him and Jennings are fine at the point guard and center spot. And looking at our rookie, Grayson Allen, we know he could shoot. We want him to be our 6th man coming off the bench, bringing pretty much energy, athleticism, and shooting to our bench core. And really, we need a good solidified bench to maybe be a contender in the Eastern Conference. And yeah, so hopefully this team isn't like good enough to be like an 8, 7, 6 seed and able to make the playoffs with drafting Grayson Allen, signing Ian Mahinmi, and Brandon Jennings and Alan Crabb. Also bringing back Galloway and Kevin Serafin. And we also have Melo. And oh yeah, I can't forget about pretty much our best player this year, Kristaps Porzingis.